It's time now for the Ask the Mayor program here on your hometown news station, AM-1300 KGLO, and KGLOAM.com, as well as we have our first visit with Clear Lake's new mayor, Mark Ebeling, who joins us in studio. And Mark, we appreciate you agreeing to carry on the tradition that Mayor Crabb had done for so many years on the program and join us here in the KGLO studio.
Thanks, Bob. I appreciate it.
Well, let's just first of all, talk a little bit about stepping into the mayor's role after serving on the council for a handful of years and taking over for Nelson Crabb in this position.
Well, definitely big shoes to fill. Nelson did a fantastic job. And the first couple weeks thus far, pretty much aware of things that were going on, but the mayor gets made aware of pretty much everything I've found out.
More than you imagined, or no?
Maybe just a little bit.
Let's talk a little bit more about, obviously you've been on the council for a number of years, and maybe just talk a little bit about why you wanted to get involved with city government and be part of the council at first and now being in the mayor's position.
Well, Bob, to be honest, I got talked into it the first time, and then it just kind of stuck. To be even more honest, it wasn't too terribly difficult. We've got a lot of great city employees that pull a lot of weight and really make the job somewhat easy.
Well, obviously one of those big things that as a city councilman and as a mayor that happens. And in fact, we'll give full disclosure. We're taping this on Wednesday because today going on at City Hall in Clear Lake is a whole bunch of different budget workshop sessions as the city prepares to formulate the fiscal year 2027 budget. And just in general, are the key things that the city is going to need to focus on with this next year's budget that will have to be implemented into it?
Well, with any budget process, it's between wants and needs. I've just perused kind of what the department heads are needing and perhaps wanting, and it's going to be some give and take, but there is a lot of infrastructure that is going to be proposed, and it's going to come down to prioritizing what really needs to be taken care of before we don't want things to get worse than they currently are and create more costs in the long run. But we put a lot of trust in the department heads to really keep an eye on the little things, and so I think we should have a very productive budget workshop tomorrow.
And obviously infrastructure is always big. Police and fire are always big part of the budgets. And in each and every city right now is probably going through the same thing. That infrastructure is aging and you've just got to plan for the best.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think we'll get to a good 5-year plan overall with infrastructure. There's streets that need to be repaved and water lines that need to be expanded, go from 2-inch to larger size, of course, and try to coordinate everything to help keep costs low. Go in one time, get it all done, and so we can keep track of those tax dollars and do what we can best with them.
Well, it's part of the budget process for this year and in future years. Of course, I'm sure everybody's keeping an eye on what's going down at the legislature as they get underway with this year's session this week. And Governor Reynolds on Tuesday night making the recommendation a 2% cap on property tax revenue growth for city and county budgets. Is that news that you're okay with, or is that, and of course, there's a lot of things that are going to happen in the legislative session before that's all decided, but a 2% cap, is that an okay thing, or is that concerning?
We're just going to have to deal with it, unfortunately. I mean, right, wrong, or indifferent. I absolutely understand where the governor's coming from. Valuations continue to go up and up, and therefore your tax bill goes up. Fortunately, before I even stepped on the city council, Clear Lake has been very fiscally responsible, and that continues to this day. It may not always seem like it, but we are in a very good position to weather any storm that we may have to deal with property tax issues. So in that regard, thank you to all all those that came before me and us and this council for doing such a great job.
Well, and the big things, of course, are when people look at those property tax notices, it's the valuations that are having a big impact on people's tax bills, especially in Clear Lake, where we've seen the real estate market just kind of go crazy. I hate to say it that way, but that's had an impact on Clear Lake residents for sure.
Right. It's definitely a seller's market. So if you've been in your home for quite a few years, it's probably one of the best investments you've made.
Well, let's talk about last week. The council had a discussion and got an update regarding the Oaks Hotel portion of the Surf District project. Maybe just fill us in on what happened as part of that discussion, and talk about if things are still on track for getting that project going.
Yeah, I'd say things are on track. We've had some very good meetings this week, and I think I'm very positive on it. I think we are very close to getting a deal put together, and it's going to just be a fantastic hotel that's going to complement not only the Surf District and support those businesses in that vicinity, but you're 4 blocks from downtown, be the closest hotel to downtown, which I think is very important because, well, the chamber does quite a few events downtown,
Right.
and they do a great job doing it. And I just think it ties everything together, and most likely will be a catalyst to perhaps more businesses, or definitely supporting the current businesses that are there. Hopefully in a year-round capacity, not just those summer months.
Well, that's been the concept of the Surf District project was to try to redevelop that area, which saw some loss of businesses, and we've already seen some businesses already go in down there with the current part of that development. Of course, the NBC at the Surf Ballroom being opened here in the last couple of months, and just talk about what are the biggest concerns in trying to get that deal together with getting the Oaks Hotel going.
Well, this goes back quite a few months, as most people are aware, the 7th Avenue discussion, which we were able to work through, the design and, the layout and everything, which, the developers done a great job addressing those wants and needs, and basically have made changes to what the public and the council wants, which is fantastic. They've been great to work with. And this goes back to, I believe, 2009 when RDG did an overall plan for the district. So this isn't something that's just being done overnight. And, the talk of the hotel was even before we started the application for the grant. And that is a key part. I mean, that is turning that into a hotel was part of that grant application. And I'm very, I don't get too excited about things, but just the new rendering is out and it looks fantastic. It's not going to look like any other hotel you see. It's not, just a straight box hotel by any means. And it's a great ode to the history of what was there, the Chautauqua and the Oaks itself. And there's going to be a lot of historical aspects within the hotel with a nod back to the Chautauqua, which I think is fantastic.
So what's next in the process? Getting a development agreement figured out, or what's the plan on a timeline here?
In the ideal world, it will be on our agenda to set the public hearing. So it'll be on our agenda Monday night, not to discuss the agreement, but our February 1st meeting, I believe, is our February 1st. Yeah. That will be on the agenda to discuss the agreement.
All right. Well, let's look at some of the things from back in the first meeting of the year, back on January 5th last week. And of course, the council had to formally approve the going the appointment route to fill the vacancy that from your old council seat that you held. And maybe just talk about, obviously here in Mason City, they decided to go with a special election. That was an option the council could have chosen in Clear Lake, but they decided to go with the appointment route. Just talk about, maybe the thought process behind that.
Well, I think, we're open to anyone that wants to, applications are due Friday at noon.
Right.
I think the appointment route is fine. At least in my mind, if the public wants to force a special election, it's 40 some odd signatures
Right.
in order to force that, which is absolutely fine. But we just need to go through the application process, do the interviews, and see what the public thinks of our appointment.
Have there been many people that have applied for the position yet?
That honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't had a whole lot of time to think
Well, that's
about that.
fine. I mean, well, you've had time to you've had this time to transition into your new role 15 days in here. So, but the applications due on Friday, and then the process. When's the date that the council's going to try to appoint somebody? Is it the first council meeting or the second council meeting of the month of February?
I believe it will be the second meeting in February,
Okay.
because we'll have to schedule interviews,
Right.
and sometimes scheduling meetings is like herding cats.
Well, talk about the new fire chief, Jim Finstead, obviously taking over for the longtime chief, and obviously a longtime member of the fire department. A good choice.
Yeah, I've known Jim since the 80s,
Right.
quite a long time. I think Jim's going to do a great job. He definitely has the experience, and looking forward to working with him. Doug's again a tough one, big shoes to fill.
Right.
50 years of service is absolutely amazing. But yeah, I think Jim's going to do a fantastic job, and that fire department is fantastic. It's an all volunteer fire department, and for what they do for the city of Clear Lake is amazing.
Well, looking ahead to some things that are also on the city agenda here. Sounds like on Monday night you'll get an update on the 4th Avenue South Corridor project, which obviously has some funds tied to improving that.
Yes. Hopefully we're able to receive a lot of grant funding for that. I foresee, that 4th Avenue, that does need to be addressed. It's not that it's an eyesore, but there's a lot of things that could definitely spruce it up quite a bit. I think most likely the biggest discussion is going to be roundabouts.
The buzzword.
Yes. I find roundabouts are fantastic in my mind. Keeps traffic flowing. I think they're aesthetically very pleasing. So we'll just have to see how that conversation goes.
And I know in SEH's previous presentation, if I remember right, they talked about those roundabouts, making those to make sure that they look good, that they are appealing to the community, and just aren't a slab of concrete in the middle of the street.
Right. Yeah. There'll be anything from statues, and we can almost do anything, right, within reason, of course.
Talk about housing initiatives in Clear Lake, and I know we talked about property taxes earlier, but obviously something that's a need is housing around North Central Iowa. And is there any initiatives potentially coming up for the city of Clear Lake to look at?
There are some things I can't talk about, but right, there are initial discussions on some development, which I think is good. Yeah, we'll just have to kind of see how it all unfolds. But yeah, there's plenty of interest, we'll say, in building housing.
And one other thing that you're looking at is trying to find a watershed coordinator. Of course, Clear Lake has had a few different people in that watershed coordinator position in the last few years, and now the partnership with Mason City, because obviously they want to have a little focus on the Winnebago River watershed, and sounds like a great partnership between the two communities.
Oh, I think it's fantastic. So it'll be Clear Lake, Mason City, Ventura, and Sarasota County.
Right.
I've been involved with the APCL for going back prior to dredging, years
right,
ago, and to see this evolve into what it has is really great. It's great to partner with other governments, especially for something like this. We all live downstream, right?
Right.
And obviously, being in Clear Lake, we have to have our eyes on the lake itself at all times. And but all that water ends up coming through Mason City eventually. So it'll be really fun to watch that progress and see what more we can do.
Anything else you want to hit on before we let you go?
I think we
Covered everything.
did a pretty darn good job.
Oh yeah,
for the first one.
I wanted to take a little bit easy on your first show. I mean, it'll get harder. Trust. No, just kidding. No,
I appreciate
you do a
it.
good job. So
Thank
we
you.
appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again next month.
Sounds
Appreciate
good.
you stopping by.
All right. Thanks, Bob.
Clear Lake's Mayor Mark Ebeling here on the Ask the Mayor program here on your hometown news station, AM 1300 KGLO.